And happy Friday. Welcome, and it's the PHNX Cardinals podcast live from Studio K, brought to you by our friends at Circle K, your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. I'm Johnny Venerable, joined as always by my handsome co-host, decked out in black today. It's Brack on a Football Friday. Damon, Dawg, producer extraordinaire behind the mic. What a loaded, tasty little nugget of a Friday show we got here, Bo.
Yeah, we pieced it together. We're excited about it. We've got our fearless quarterback posting an IG, kind of a fair warning to the rest of the league before training camp. We got your usual daily dose of disrespect for the Arizona Cardinals. This time it's our sweet baby Trey McBride.
Yep.
And man, are we going to dust it off and we're going to fire up the old mock draft machine? Like a couple of sickos on July 12th, 2024. Yeah, of course we're going to do that. I'm excited to do all with all of you. Shafe, what's going on? Jess, I see you. Chase, Rudy, Eric Marshall, Alpha Male JV, one of the best usernames in the chat, and Richard Steppen. Welcome into the final show of the week, barring any breaking news. I don't expect any this weekend, but it's an exciting time.
Be one of the grossest times for breaking news the weekend of July 13th and 14th, wouldn't it? As we edge so closer to training camp. Training camp officially kicks off just under 2 weeks' time. So next week, our last official week of the off season, as we continue, Bo, to preview the Arizona Cardinals. As you mentioned, we're going to talk Trey McBride in the entirety of the tight end room and why it's poised maybe to be one of the deepest position groups on the team. And I thought, you know what? That's where we're going to lead the show today. False, says Kyler Murray, as I got a message from our guy Ozzy on Twitter, and everybody else was notified. He said, go look at Kyler Murray's Instagram page. And, well, here it is. Let's check it out, Damon, Dawg. Kyler Murray was in the lab the entirety of the offseason, and people are taking note. There's Kyler Murray with one simple statement, Bo Brack. Bet the over. It's a thirst trap, if you will. But at the same time, I like to call it a subtle warning to those who are doubting K1 and the Arizona Cardinals, frankly, in 2024.
Isn't that what this says right here? A picture's worth 1,000 words, and a few of them I've strung together. Look out, NFL. Is that what you're saying? Bet the over, and then you got former Cardinal J.J. Watt jumping in. I don't know, man. 10 pounds seems pretty accurate. You're thinking maybe 11. What is he making a joke about the medicine ball he's tossing around there?
I guess.
All right. You got
Hey, JJ, let Kyler have his moment
every
here.
time. We got to be careful here, guys. There's rules here. Will Hernandez say I might be more shredded. You got to like that. And then Trey Benson saying it's almost that time. It is almost that time. And Kyler's ready. And that's what these you can call them thirst traps, whatever, on Instagram, but he's dialed in. He's ready to go.
Alani McGee, I think this is tongue in cheek. I'm not sure though. He says his stomach is a little big, the mobility could take a hit. Kyler Murray is built like a freight train from hell. His lower body is enormous. And I think that go look at any peak Russell Wilson photo. Not him right now in a boxing ring looking like me with my shirt off. No. Look at Russell Wilson like 7-8 years ago in peak condition in Seattle. That's what Kyler Murray looks like right now. Like I think I'm sure Kyler Murray would tell you as such. This is probably the best physical condition he's ever been in. And he never let himself become out of shape with his appearance coming off a torn ACL. But it does certainly look like now he has put himself in position, like that's the physique, in his opinion, and I'll take his word for it, that he needs to put together to overcome, 17-game rigorous NFL season with one bye included, something he's only done to completion one time. So this is not Tua, who's already got health concerns, who looks like he weighs about $175. I mean, you look at Kyler Murray. Let's get that up one more time, Damon, Dawg. How big, or excuse me, what do you think Kyler Murray is tipping the scales at this year?
I would bet he's about 205. Probably, like he was drafted like 207.
Yeah.
Right. And I think he's been able to cut a little bit. He doesn't have as much baby fat on him as he did his rookie season, where I think that was probably the higher end that he would play at. I don't know. And muscle weighs more than fat, and there's not much fat on him. Look at his quad there. My God. I don't know. I think that it's just that's part of the process is becoming a pro.
Yeah.
As you make your way, especially when you're somebody that's not blessed with, height like Kyler Murray is, like you got to figure out, what body type suits you best and what training program. And this is a guy who hasn't stopped training since he tore his ACL, since he had the surgery to repair his torn ACL and the meniscus. He's been rehabbing, and now he's turned that rehab into a continuous training program where he's clearly in some of the best shape of his life.
Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, they all at their peak, I think, played at about 205, 210. I think he's in that category. I think, first of all, I think obviously he's got a better physique than Drew Brees had. But I think, again, the comps to Russell Wilson in prime Seattle are legitimate. And I think that that's what they want this offense to be, a run dominant offense, working off of play action, using his mobility to their advantage, taking deep shots, right? Russell Wilson used to throw an incredibly beautiful deep ball. I think there's just too many similarities with how Russ played at the peak of Seattle when they were going to Super Bowls and then shortly after, and then what Kyler Murray has transformed his body into. I thought he looked good last year. I thought photos coming out of his recovery from an ACL and what he looked like off to the side of training camp, I'm like, he looks great. He looks even better this offseason. And again, if people aren't poised for, I know the messaging was subtle, but it's clear in my mind. It's like, hey, take the over for this team. Be smart. Don't be stupid. Look at the players that we have here. Look at the offense, the infrastructure. Look at the momentum we had at the end of last year. This is not, like, I see the Cardinals over under, and it's comparable to like the Titans and the Raiders. Look at what those teams have at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
Quarterback, and we know this, it's the biggest equalizer in all of pro sports. It's what Houston took last year to be a top 5 team drafting potentially as a projection to a divisional round, appointee or a divisional round participant last year. So again, we're going to talk about tight ends today. We can talk about defensive line. We bitched about the pass rush yesterday. All of that is irrelevant if that player right there plays at an MVP-like level. Then everything else takes care of itself.
Well, I don't even know, like MVP level, like that'd be unbelievable. And I think that, he's poised to have, turn back the clock to his 2021 form. At the same time, like they don't need him. Like it no longer is the case that they need Kyler Murray to carry them in basically every category. Is he capable of doing it? Absolutely. But now, offensively, from a play calling standpoint and a playmaking standpoint, I think that they've got the infrastructure to where he doesn't have to carry that load, and it bodes better for the long haul, for the marathon of a now 17-game slate. And Kyler Murray, I think, with the help of the Cardinals' revamped training staff, which still includes Buddy Morris, who he worked alongside closely for his rehab, but now I think is trying to take that part of his game, even to higher stature. I think that, the Arizona Cardinals, especially under Jonathan Gannon, who emphasizes that, who throughout his press conferences will drop little nuggets that you can tell that he is very focused into what it takes to keep yourself in a perfect position to operate at a high level physically, that, his quarterback is buying in. And like the consistent play at that position, it will separate you from, it will take you from being a potentially pedestrian team and put you right in the thick of the playoff race. I mean, that they have no business being, especially with a consistent Kyler Murray, being mentioned in the same breath as the Vegas Raiders and those frauds, the Tennessee Titans, who just once again picked up another over the hill, non-impact making big name to their roster and Jamal Adams the other day.
We forgot to mention that on the show yesterday. But they're putting together the best team from 2018, a super team, if you will. We're going to do a PFF mock draft to end the show today, like a couple of sickos, as Bo mentioned. And it's funny, like everybody has the Titans ahead of the Cardinals on every offseason ranking, it seems like, yet PFF has them firmly like with the top 4 pick. Cardinals back half of the top 10, unfortunately. But I mean, just think about it. Say it out loud. These are the Titans players. They're not any good. Whereas the Cardinals have youth, they have athleticism, they have promise, and most importantly, they have hope. Any final thoughts on the shirtless Kyler Murray photo that took the internet by storm today, Bo?
I don't know. I think you need to cue up like the Top Gun Kenny Loggins, like when they're playing volleyball on the beach, playing with the boys, just get ready for the big weekend, the final 2 weekends before they report to training camp. That it's Kyler Murray's summer, and he's already checking in for camp, and his team's already there. We're hearing from some of his teammates this past weekend, the defensive play caller, Nick Rollis, yesterday. Like this team continues to compete. The heck, their head coach is out competing in his own right this week. This is not a team that's ever really truly taking time off from the game. Like their main focus is getting back on track, becoming relevant in 2024. And like what he's like, if he can dial in where he needs to be physically any given season, and now that you've got, hey, he doesn't have to take off and run and make a play happen, close to 10 times a game, you can cut it in half and it's like 5 to 6 times a game. And you're seeing how effective he was utilizing his legs again, especially in the red zone last season. Like, I think it just takes his game to the next level.
Yep, we're fired up about it. We're fired up about everybody here in the chat on a Football Friday. Like this video. Great to see everybody. Jessica, Ryan, Ozzy, Steven, K2, Rudy, the whole gang. Jack Smith is here, YouTube user. Shafe is here, Fishbowl Flash, and more. Drop a like on this video. Yeah, give us some love. Give Circle K some love right now. I picked up my son from summer camp yesterday, and by summer camp I mean he did a 2-hour Ninja Warrior camp in the morning here in Gilbert. Had a good time doing that. Got a little certificate, and then said, "Dad, I want to go to Circle K." I said, "Let's do it." So I took him to Circle K. He got a 79-cent Froster, much to his mom's chagrin because it was the Coke flavor. And he never gets Coke, as I mentioned to you, Bo. And then he got a big bag of Doritos, and it was just a great afternoon. He played Madden, and it was the time of his life. And it all started with our friends at Circle K.
That's the dream right there.
I miss the summer so much, man. I miss it so much. Like, I'm like 2 years removed from like honestly, 2 years removed from getting summers off. And like that, just a Froster, some video games, nothing to do. You can't beat that.
My wife's like, "How long are you gonna let him play?" I'm like, "As long as he wants." I mean, the poor bastard starts school next week. It's just, I feel terrible.
Next week?
Yeah, man.
He's in year-round school.
Well, that's how the district does it. Like Gilbert, Chandler, they start school next week. Poor little guy.
You're probably broken up about that.
He is. He's very.
You.
Oh no, it's great. We've never eaten anything more. We're fired up. Again, my son loved his time at Circle K with his old man. You can too. Become an Inner Circle member with America's Thirst Stop new free membership program. Save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. Save 3 cents per gallon every single day. As I mentioned, me and the little man, we got Polar Pops, Frosters for just 79 cents. You can too now through September 3rd at any Arizona location. All you got to do, download the app today under Inner Circle offers. Join the Inner Circle, Bo and Damon, for free right now by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply. At participating locations, visit CircleK.com for more details.
It's last call for D-backs tickets tonight on the Game Time app. You can get yourself in the door, Chase Field, downtown Phoenix, just in the shadow of the PHNX Sports Studios for $5. Get in for $5. You can get parking close to the stadium for $3. Game Time. Yeah, that's what you're going to find your last minute ticket deals. It's the best, most consistent way to do that. Or you can check in the WNBA All-Star game next week. You can get in the door for $75. Go see Caitlin Clark hit the hardwood for the WNBA All-Star games. You can check out a Phoenix Rising FC game for $7. You want to go check out Arizona Cardinals preseason action for $1? Download the Game Time app today, and you can see Cards Saints for as little as $1. All you have to do is download it and also save yourself some even more dough by using the promo code PHNX, and that's going to save you $20 off your first purchase. That's what you want to check in. If you're a procrastinator like myself, Johnny, Damon, Dawg, wait till the very last minute, and you can get yourself great scoop of deal on these tickets. Check them out. Download the Game Time app. Create an account. Use the code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create that account. Redeem code PHNX, and $20, it's off your purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
We're looking at tickets right now. My family's coming for right after the Halloween holiday, and Bears tickets right now, they're pricey just about anywhere. Caleb versus Kyler Murray. I've just been refreshing Game Time for that game. Tickets are great. Like we're trying to find like 3 or 4 tickets on Game Time amongst themselves, and that's choosing to be a little bit of a challenge. But still, I compare Game Time's prices to anybody else. It's not even worth comparing, really.
No, it's your go-to. Make sure you got it locked in, and if you see something you want to immediately kind of just purchase, do it, or ride it out, man. You'll feel alive all the way to the very last second when you do purchase those lowest price guaranteed tickets.
I'm feeling alive with this super chat. Ben Cork, how about this? $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Ben. How about this? Hello, fellow diehards. Finally pulled the trigger. Well, welcome, Ben. Congratulations. And we're fired up to have you. Make sure to join the exclusive PHNX Cardinals member Discord, which is always popping. And then pick up that free t-shirt, which undoubtedly has to come from the number 18 collection. Maybe not. Bo and I are rocking a couple classics today. There's the Phoenix t-shirt. There's that number 18 collection. It's hanging up in my closet right now. I'm saving it for next week. I'm saving it for training camp. It's led by the MHJ t-shirt. Then you got Maserati Marv, a little bit of math on the far right-hand side. But Damon, let's go back to Bo and I. Bo has the celebratory touchdown t-shirt, which I am told don't have that many left. And it looks like we only have them in maybe an XL, double XL. This one really goes hard too. It's the Bird Gang Till I Die t-shirt. So Ben, not only you get a free t-shirt, anybody who wants to become a diehard, you get 20% off all future purchases. So go nuts, load up your inventory. You can't buy an MHJ jersey yet, which is unfortunate, but you can shop, Bo, the number 18 collection now.
It's been 78 days, 78 long days since MHJ has been drafted in this organization, and you still cannot get yourself an 18 jersey. You can go like macro make yourself an old AJ Green jersey, repurpose it into a Marvin Harrison Jr. jersey, but the best way to rep 18 in the Valley, phnxlocker.com.
Ben saying that Greg Dortch shirt looking good. Absolutely. Throwback when he rocked 83, when he had a podcast on this network. Absolutely. Can't go wrong. Love all of our gear, but mostly the number 18 collection right now. Hottest at the Discord or the merchandise locker. Richard 199. Who wins a 40-yard dash? K1 or Marv?
I think Marv.
Yeah. With his strides right now, his youth. I think Kyler Murray, I mean, football speed, Kyler Murray's up there, but I mean, Marv.
I think we've seen Kyler hit like 20, maybe 21 miles per hour on the field. And then Marv was clocked last year at 23 miles per hour.
I bet Kyler wins a 20-yard dash.
You think he's got a little quicker
I
burst?
think he accelerates faster, would be my guess.
I think Mina Kimes was pointing out that nobody is quicker as far as getting through like a line of scrimmage, the quarterback position, even Lamar Jackson, than Kyler Murray. And that was returning off his ACL.
Do you think Marv has now become the fastest player on the team? Like if you had to run 50 yards and they lined everybody up, is Marv the fastest player on the team, pound for pound?
I bet a cornerback is the fastest player on the team.
I mean, Max Melton was sub 4.4, wasn't he?
Ozzy saying him or Max Melton. I just think back to like when Randy Moss would run, he would never look fast, but his strides and his length would take over. And no one was a match for him vertically. Cornerbacks, undersized players, and I just imagine that's what Marv looks like. We haven't got to see it yet, but
yeah, we're gonna see it soon enough.
No more Purdue corners in the Big Ten. No more. I was gonna say Rutgers corners, but they have actually pretty good corners. But no more Iowa DBs. Cooper DeJean doesn't play DB or cornerback anymore. He plays safety.
Might be a slot corner. I don't know.
Thought he was gonna be a Cardinal. Sad day. Instead, the Cardinals got Max Melton, and later in that infamous Friday night draft, they took a tight end, Tip Raymond. Speaking of tight ends, Cardinals, is it one of their deepest position units on the team, Bo Brack? That's the question of the day as we continue our offseason preview. We talked about the offensive line. Let's talk about the more athletic big heavies led by, in my opinion, the most underrated yet should be a Pro Bowl caliber player on this team, Trey McBride, who coming into now his junior season, his third year in the NFL, is poised to be a top 5 player for this team. He only started 12 games a year ago, yet he eclipsed 800 yards. He set a bunch of new tight end records for the history of this franchise. They hadn't had a 100-yard receiving tight end game in like 30 years. Yeah. Trey checked all the boxes, and he was undoubtedly Steve Keim's best parting gift.
And it's his want and will to be a complete tight end, right? It's not just about being a threat in the receiving game, even though he did take that to levels that we haven't seen since the Arizona Cardinals moved to the desert, right? And yeah, I mean, he leads the charge, and he's a third-year player, and he's the elder statesman in that room. And sometimes you would say with the inexperience, that's a bad news, but I think the Cardinals really like what they have in that room. They've got a converted wide receiver, Elijah Higgins, who I thought was a great safety valve player for this offense last year. And then the addition of Tip Ryman to kind of just do what, I think the other two what they lack in the run blocking department. And that's not a knock on Trey McBride, but Tip Ryman was the best run blocking tight end in this draft. It's a versatile, diverse group as far as their play styles. And I like it. I really like it.
They all complement each other so well, right? And I haven't seen Tip Ryman play one snap of NFL football, but we had his position coach from Illinois on this show. He's a selfless player. He's somebody that helps the team in whatever capacity, and probably was not utilized to his fullest extent at the University of Illinois and was hampered by their quarterback play. And then you've got, Higgy Bear last year, converted wide receiver tight end. As you mentioned, like somebody that has a 6th-round pick. I mean, he's going to not only be a part of this team, part of this offense, I think he's got a chance to really solidify himself as a nice complementary receiving tight end to Trey McBride. I go back and watch some of the games to end last year. I mean, go watch the Philadelphia game. He was the 2nd leading receiver against Pittsburgh. So Trey McBride, rightfully so, gets all the headlines and accolades. But if you tell me, okay, Tip Ryman was drafted to be a top 3 to 5 blocking tight end in the NFL. Higgy Bear is just another big body wide receiver tight end combo. And then you've got a Pro Bowler at the position. I mean, like any of those guys should be able to be your tight end one on any given Sunday if somebody were to go down. And that's a good feeling to have.
It is.
Because historically, that was not the case. You just kind of took what you had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just kind of a hodgepodge, like mishmash of maybe you threw bunch of free agent dollars at somebody, or you traded in the case of Zach Ertz for somebody that was, on the downhill slope of their career, or, you reached in the draft and you didn't necessarily hit somebody that was going to consistently make plays, or somebody that you emerged like Ricky Seals Jones was like a practice squad guy. And then you're like, hey, this is going to be our next great guy. And then you see like why he's, he struggled to consistently stay at the NFL level. So that's not the case with this group. Like they all, I think have found their way for specific reasons to the NFL level, and they have a specific role on this team, and then do have, I think places where they can grow, especially a guy like Tip Ryman. When we talk about just how physical he can be and how big he is, 6'5", 271, and then he's off the charts as far as his RAS score, in his pre-draft workouts. I mean, this guy's as athletic as they come. We talk about fastest 40 times. He's not going to be your fastest 40 time, but at 271 and he's a 4'6" guy, that's scary. Like he's a freak. And I think they're all freaks in their own right. And I think that's what you want to see from that position. But then also, in Trey McBride's case, kind of be a technician in the run game and in the pass game.
Yeah, I mean, we joke about Tip Ryman as Alpha Male JV saying can't wait for the Tip JV interaction at training camp. But when you get the momentum of somebody that big and that powerful at 6'4", as you said, for a 40 time, I mean, he ought to be able to open some lanes, and he'll become an immediate fan favorite. He was putting people on their ass week 1 at Buffalo. So again, like, let's see how he does. He did well in the gauntlet drill at the NFL Combine, but he is a position right now where you're a top 100 pick. People are going to want immediate results, and he's got to show something. He's got to show athleticism, and he's got to be able to prove himself. But I mean, listen, it all starts and ends with Trey McBride. Trey McBride, 2nd round pick out of Colorado State, somebody that this time last year, Bo, we were hopeful. We were hopeful that he was going to emerge. And then we saw what happened with Zach Ertz. He was coming off a torn ACL. There's no way Ertz is going to be ready to start the year. It's going to be Trey McBride's job. And then you fast forward, that was not how the depth chart looked. So it took Trey about 4 to 5 weeks to really earn that trust of the coaches, to be the guy, and at the same time, take full advantage that Ertz was hurt again. And then they had to release him. So 12 weeks last year, he was amongst, if not the most dominant receiving tight end in the NFL. Yet, unfortunately, our frenemies at ESPN did not include him, Bo, as you put on Twitter today, in the top 10 tight ends in the NFL.
I didn't think it could get any worse, right? Like what we'd seen, the omission of Jalen Thompson yesterday in the safeties, and as we look at the running backs, and you got James Conner didn't even earn an honorable mention, right? As far as the running backs go. And this is a list that's compiled from league execs, coaches, and scouts. And I look at this top 10 list and I see Trey McBride on the outside looking in. If I run an organization and one of my coaches or scouts or execs he has Dalton Schultz in the top 10 and Trey McBride not, I'm firing his ass because he doesn't know talent when he sees it. That is just an unbelievable omission. And it's like, do these guys know ball? And I think you can make the case that they don't for stupid stuff like this. It's simple. Like, we're talking about Trey McBride entering the top 5 of the tight end conversation this year, and they are so far behind. They are so far behind. Like, when do they get their 2023 Arizona Cardinals season tape and they can watch Trey McBride play football? Because if they clearly haven't watched him yet. If they're putting Dalton Schultz, Dalton Kincaid, just because he benefits from playing with Josh Allen in Buffalo, it's an absurd take.
Like this should be last year's list coming into the season. Oh, yeah, Trey McBride, honorable mention, player to watch out for. Yet he's got the same quarterback coming back in Kyler Murray that he shined with. He's got the same offense. Offensive coordinator hasn't changed. It's not like he's got, like, Tim Ryman is a complimentary tight end to Trey. He's not competition. He's not taking snaps away from Trey McBride.
Right.
Like, that just says to me, just play it on a loop. As you mentioned, Mina Kimes, no one watches the Cardinals at ESPN. Nobody, period, point blank. Mike Tannenbaum, everybody in their lunchroom on the East Coast. Yeah, let's get Dalton Kincaid over Trey McBride. In no world would any GM take that. Dalton Schultz is a nice player. Didn't have half the season Trey McBride had last year. Turd Ferguson, we outlined that. Like, the list itself, let's see it, Damon Dawg. It's laughably bad. Here it is, ESPN's top 10 tight end rankings. I wish this was a delusional fantasy. Kelsey and George Kittle and Mark Andrews and Sam Laporta are the first 4 picks. If you look at any tight end fantasy football trajectory, which at the end of the day, that's what this is. It's like, who contributes the most yardage? Well, this is not that list, yet Trey McBride is consensus top 3 to 5 fantasy tight end throughout fantasy football rankings. And he's not a top 10 tight end in general. Evan Ingram, Dalton Schultz, Dalton Kincaid, are they good blockers? I don't know, but they're not nearly the receiver as Trey McBride. So again, like, you can have this list with Hawkinson coming off major injury, Njoku unsettled at the quarterback position, Dallas Goedert was inconsistent last year. But this is, to me, we've seen a lot of shit lists this offseason. This is the worst. You put it out there today. I couldn't believe it when you texted me this morning. This is the worst list of the offseason officially.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I like the top guys, and I think Andrews and Hawkinson obviously questionable as far as injury history, but tough guys that you can make the case to be top 5. And Njoku hit a nose for the end zone last year, but like Dallas Goedert, like, he is who he is. Like, I think that he's got a ceiling as a playmaker. He's force fed the ball in that offense quite a bit, a lot of tight end screens. So you'll see some gaudy reception numbers, but you don't see a guy that's putting up, tons of yards per catch. And then the Dalton Kincaid thing is way too early in the game, has no business being ahead of Trey McBride. Ingram, I agree with, over 100 catches last year. I think that he's been able to revitalize his career down there in Jacksonville. So I'll welcome him into the conversation. But Dalton Schultz, no. He's not a better tight end than Trey McBride. Trey McBride to be slumming it where he is in the honorable mentions, it's downright disrespectful. And to kind of hide it behind scouts, coaches, and execs, like, you can say and puff their chest out and say that they know ball, but this is just flat out wrong.
Well, here's what it is. This is the only rationale I can give, is that they like Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, and CJ Stroud more than they like Kyler Murray. And they're saying that these tight ends are better off with these quarterbacks. I don't trust. Everything comes back to K1, which is unfortunate, but this smells significantly of K1 hate. Here's the breakdown for Trey McBride's egregious honorable mention. McBride had 1 drop on 108 targets. Is that good? Which is impressive for a second-year player. I think it's very impressive. Of his 81 catches, 42 of them went for a first down. That's 5th amongst tight ends. We're really high on him coming up, a team exec said. He does a lot of things really well. Run after the catch, good in the red zone, has a higher upside than many of the guys ahead of him. He's more of a pass game tight end, but a competitive blocker. Okay, so he is has superior yak than most everybody on that list. Most of his catches, half of them go for first downs, top 5 in the NFL. I'm sorry. They're like, well, yeah, he's a better pass catcher than blocker. Okay, give me that in 2024. Like, I like Tip Ryman. Tip Ryman wasn't a top 50 pick or a top 30 pick for a reason, because there's questions about how athletic he is to go out and catch the football and run routes. That's never been a problem with Trey McBride. Just put the tape on, but they won't. They refuse to.
Right. And look, there's a ton of bad takes despite having, impressive titles like NFL executive or NFL scout, or even we've seen horrible coaches littered across, staffs in the league. So just because they have those titles doesn't mean that their take is correct. And I don't know where they're getting their information when they're making these lists. It's just awful. It's just bad. And
they're not getting it from me.
Do we need to just take it out of our, I know we like to have fun and push back on it, but now it's just like, it's lost all credibility, in my opinion.
What's Jeremy Fowler's writing these articles. Jeremy Fowler probably sat at lunch one day, had a BLT with Mike Tannenbaum and about 7 other slappies at ESPN, a bunch of guys that have not been relevant in about 10 years. They said, you know what, give me your top 10 at each position. Yeah. And this is what they came up with. This is not scouts and executives.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not like, hey, Kyle Shanahan, hey, John Lynch, how good is Trey McBride? No, they're not asking people that. They're going to the people that they have in their Rolodex, and they're trying to get a source. And I like Jeremy Fowler as a person. Again, we've had him on the show. Like, Jeremy Fowler doesn't break Cardinal news. So Jeremy Fowler has no contacts with the Arizona Cardinals. So it's like he is going to people that he trusts, and it's a biased opinion. There's no doubt about it. It's a gross biased opinion. Go with where the fan base, the fantasy football enthusiasts are going. Everybody in sequence is like, Trey McBride is a top 3 to 5 tight end easily. And that's all. Like, it's about receiving yards and touchdowns at the position. I don't like blocking is secondary for the position. You block, great, awesome. When can somebody outline the last great Travis Kelce block off the edge where he planted a defensive end? Are you a big man that can line up in a three-point stance, right, with your hand in the ground and go out and catch 800, 900, 1,000 yards and a couple touchdowns and look good doing it and don't have to be schemed open? Everybody universally in the fantasy community is saying Trey McBride top 5.
Yeah, it is crazy that's the scouting report breakdown. And they're like, yeah, he's mostly a pass catcher and competitive in the blocking game. Well, I can look, you can point to the top 10 and you can find guys that aren't competitive in the blocking game. And their numbers do kind of pale in comparison to what Trey McBride did in 12 starts.
Yeah.
12 starts were in 5 games. He played a back seat to the Cardinals organization. And I guess credit to them for paying respect to one of the great tight ends of this generation and Zach Ertz. But, it did a little bit. Luckily, at the end of the day, it didn't hinder Trey McBride from breaking out in his sophomore season.
Really depressing, disappointing, yet we are just, 10 days away from putting to bed all of these off-season rankings and lists when real actual football begins. We can't wait to see it. We're going to see it up close and personal, ladies and gentlemen, come October 24th through the 28th with our friends at True Fan Travel. We met as a beat meeting earlier this week and put together our outline for the season, and everything is culminating with our exclusive banner of a road trip outing, truefantravel.com. PHNX Cardinals takes Miami, our Miami road trip. If you have not locked in already for what I think is the best thing we've ever done on location, join us. Package is starting at $12.99. Again, the 25th through the 28th, a 4-day event. Myself, Brack, Damon, Dawg, the GM, Saul Bookman, and more. We're doing a booze cruise. We're doing an alumni event. We're doing a tailgate. And of course, premier seats, Cardinals at Dolphins, flights to and from. You need travel accommodations. You book everything with our friends at True Fan Travel. I promise you, it's the best deal you can find. We got a Hollywood Beach hotel. It is oceanside, oceanfront, baby. We are right at South Beach, and we want to have you guys join us for what is going to be one of the best, if not the best, on-location trip this company ever does.
We're gonna grow together as a group. We're gonna get even tighter. The community is gonna get larger. Those who go down there are gonna become more and more entrenched in the PHNX Cardinals community. You're gonna stand up there. It's Damon, Dawg. His nuptials to his wedding when we wife him up. I think we've found another potential bride to be
in Hollywood, Florida.
Do we
want to express a little bit more who that might be?
Yeah, it's Detective Daniele. So the iteration works. So you got Damon, Dawg, and then you got Detective Daniele,
yes.
who was went viral today on social media, and I think that it might be a love connection, possibly.
Damon, you care to comment on that?
What we have is special.
Daniele Dawg. I mean, it doesn't get better than that.
She means business, and so do we about our friends at True Fan Travel. Detective Daniele D. Andrada and Damon.
Dawg.
Yeah, I think you should take her last
Dash
name.
Dawg, hyphen Dawg.
Yeah. She's I can't wait to meet her, Damon. You guys are gonna be so happy together.
Can't wait to introduce you, Johnny.
Right.
Is Johnny giving the toast? Is he gonna be able to give the
Do you think he can handle that?
Excuse me, Detective. Do you have your cuffs on you?
What are we doing here?
This is inappropriate. All right.
Children's show, Johnny.
Yeah, you just went.
Let's continue on.
Took a wrong direction. And maybe you aren't in a good spot for the speech.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
But yeah, truefantravel.com/Arizona. That's going to get you the most of the details there. Or you could just go to gophnx.com/events. Find all the details you need. And then, as Johnny always says, our DMs are always open. You have any questions, even if you need more info on the potential Mrs. Dawg, we'll fill you in. Let us know. At Brack, at Johnny Venerable, at Damon Dawg.
Detective Dawg, Ozzy asking if I'm the best man. I haven't been formally asked, Ozzy, but I am open to it. Absolutely. I'm ready to take on those responsibilities. It might be a Danny Tanner situation or with John Stamos and his other buddy, full house. Could be two best men.
I was kind of thinking a dual best man situation might be the way to go.
Uncle Jesse and
Uncle Joey.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's an easy split up. Like one of you guys gets the speech at the wedding and like holds onto the rings. And the other guy is like the one who plans the bachelor party, which is a little bit more of a glamorous job, but and it takes a little bit more intuition as well. I think we can split those up.
You've thought this through, and I appreciate that.
Somebody asking if Alpha Male JV saying, I expect the audience at the wedding to be doing the 9, 9, and 9 challenge. I hope not. As much as I love a good glizzy, I hope that no glizzies are consumed in Miami. I hope we have real food there.
Oh, well, I mean, we're going to set everybody up on this trip anyway. So
yes.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
All built in.
It is. Absolutely. Again, in all seriousness, check it out. Best thing we've done. True Fan Travel. Does anybody want to do a mock draft on Football Friday? Okay. So I have not, full transparency, I don't think I've done one of these since maybe the day after the NFL draft this past spring. The mock draft simulator has been taking a much needed, much well-deserved rest on this show. Yet, here we are in the dead of the offseason, 10 days away from training camp. Why not, Brack and Damon Dawg? Dabble with, how can we just do one round? Should we just do one round?
Oh, I mean, it's just 3 rounds.
Okay. All right. We can do more.
I'll help you through it.
Okay. I appreciate that. I'm going to share my screen here. I'm almost out of practice doing this.
Yeah,
all right.
Hopefully not too many tabs about the future Mrs. Dawg up on your screen.
No.
Shadur goes 1, right, guys?
Yeah. It is going to be sickening to see.
That's what Dion told me.
Oh, yeah. Coach Prime.
All right.
He's locked in. It's probably not off-putting to most NFL organizations, the circus that's been going on in Boulder.
Damon, I saw that you, not to change the subject again, had an issue with Texas's QB's NCAA ranking. Do you care to comment on that?
Well, I mean, I just have a problem with a guy that has never played a snap of college football being an 87. Like, I think in my experience playing these games, like with the 5-star freshmen that come in, they're typically somewhere around like high 70s, low 80s ratings. Because when they get to be seniors or juniors, their ratings develop into like the high 90s, mid 90s and stuff. Arch Manning is going to have as the same rating as Noah Fafita is going to have. And Noah Fafita had 25 touchdowns and 6 picks in 8 games last year.
So we have a Nepo baby problem in NCAA already.
Is his name Noah Manning?
100. Yeah. See, there is a Nepo problem. I mean, like, it's sad that like EA is like, guys, what kind of ratings can we give out that are going to really set the internet on fire?
Yeah.
Like, that's what we're doing right now. We're giving Colorado the best ratings and Arch Manning an 87. It's just nuts.
I can't wait to see Bronny's 2K rating. That's going to be cinema right there.
All right, let's do this. All right, so I'm slowing this down. I don't know these players very well.
Fire it up. You're going to know them soon.
Yeah, I don't want to know them. I want to know them around pick 32. Carolina with the first pick, Cardinals picking 7th. Our friends, Sweet Baby Tennessee, somehow don't need a quarterback. This is a laugh, right? Denver Broncos, everybody's sleeper, picking 3rd. All right, let's start this draft. James Pierce, Will Johnson, Mason Graham, Kelvin Banks, Will Campbell, Deion Walker. Not an ideal situation. Cardinals need defensive line edge rushers. None are available, and no QBs available either. Shador Sanders or no QBs go atop the first 6 picks, Bo. Looking at this board right now, who do you like? I see a lot of receivers and defense.
I like the corners in this spot. You got Benjamin Morrison, who goes to Notre Dame. He went to Brophy Prep here locally in Phoenix.
Okay.
20 years old. Damon was telling me that he has his family went to U of A. So he's got ties locally. He's arguably in the conversation for one of the best corners in this draft. Yeah, the Travis Hunter is on the board as well. He's, I think, somebody you seriously have to take a look at the cornerback spot. It's a premium position, and I think it's one that we should look at here. Where's our guy? So our guy from Kentucky went off the board.
Yeah, 1 pick before is Deion Walker. Would have been the pick again. Will Johnson's a tremendous corner. We saw him on display last year. I would have taken any of these guys had they fallen. Kelvin Banks, tremendous. Will Campbell, fantastic last year, blogging for Jaden Daniels. I don't love how this board fell. Not a fan of it.
I would go with Morrison.
You would go with Morrison over Travis Hunter, Damon? I'm pretty high on Travis Hunter.
Let's go Travis Hunter just because Bo went Morrison in his mock he did earlier today. Okay. So let's switch it up a little bit.
All right.
Travis I mean, like as much of a joke as Colorado was last year, Travis Hunter seemed like the only serious person.
Well, he's also like what he can do for your receiving game. Deion says that he's the best receiver in college right now.
Well, Patrick Peterson had a package that he would run during practices with Bruce Arians. So wouldn't hate that. And Travis Hunter, he's a dog. We need some dogs in the desert here. Travis Hunter versus
Marvin. Are we holding the line for Travis Hunter? Does it start now?
Travis Hunter versus Marvin at practice would be pretty elite. I think everybody would agree with that.
You guys should scroll up and look at who the Jets just selected.
Is it Shador?
Right, hang on. Shador to the Jets? Yes, baby. Of course.
We need that. The streets need that so bad. We need that more than we need oxygen to breathe. That would be incredible.
It would be disgusting how much run they're gonna get
in New York. Oh my God.
Damon, can I ask you a question? What Arizona U of A's got like multiple first rounders. McMillan goes 13. Davis, the safety who I'm familiar with, goes 17th. And then look at this. They got another tackle after last year's first rounder going 34.
Yeah, so those are the 3 guys this year. I think Takario Davis isn't really a safety. So, I mean, that must be a projection that they think he's going to move to safety, but he plays cornerback. He was first team all Pac-12 last year, and he's 6'3" and plays corner. He's really, really good. Jonas Avenea, I think he's more of a guard at the next level. He started off as guard, and he plays tackle out of necessity, but I think he projects more as a guard. He's absolutely just a massive human being. And then T-Mac is going to be, I would be shocked if he wasn't a top 10 pick, to be honest with you.
Wow.
If the Seahawks pick Luther Burden, who's 5 inches shorter than T-Mac, for example, like I think that's like taking Malik Neighbors over Marv.
That's like taking Andy Isabella over DK Metcalf.
Not quite.
It's the same situation.
Not quite.
It's the exact same.
I mean, Burton's playing in the SEC, and Isabella was playing in the MEAC conference.
He was playing in the sandbox conference. All right,
hey,
let's get back to the board here.
You got to trade down.
What?
Those are the rules. If you're taking the reins for Monti Ossenfort, you have to trade down your first.
No, not trading down.
Yes, you do.
Mock in July.
I'm walking off the show if you don't follow the rules.
Oh my God, I'm not trading with Houston again. Well, looks like that's our best bet. So we're gonna go 50 and 84 for 39. Is that everybody all right with that? All right. Bo says we have to add more draft capital because he's a sicko. We'll see you guys in about 13 picks. I'm gonna speed up this freight train hellhole of a mock draft here. All right, Cardinals on the clock again. Unfortunately, now no SEC front seven players available, and we have to turn our attention back to the Cincinnatis of the world for an edge rusher. I don't love that. I feel like this mock is already a big waste of time because we didn't get a premier edge defender and we let other teams take those positions when the Cardinals were in a position, Bo Brock, to take maybe a defensive lineman from Ohio State, a couple of these premier, edge rushers.
Until you trade down to 50.
That was the only thing available.
Well, you could have crafted a trade on your own.
I'm not looking to force trades and nickel and dime here on a Friday.
What about the guard from Georgia here?
That's where my mind was going. Yep. Front seven player, 725 snaps at right guard, 843 the year before on the national championship team. Tate Ratledge, 6'6", 310 pounds, only gave up 1 sack in the last 2 years. That's my pick. Did anybody have an issue with that?
No.
All right.
I just want to see you scroll a little bit.
Tate and his taters putting people on the ground. I need an edge rusher like I need air. Are we trading for an edge rusher at some point? What's happening in this scenario?
Is that Shiloh Sanders rank a joke? Like, is this some sort of practical joke that they're playing on us?
That is unbelievable.
A 3rd round pick? I don't even know if he'll play in the XFL or what, the USFL or whatever they call it these days.
Get Trevor Sickman on the phone right now in the dead of the offseason. I can't believe we're doing this mock draft, and you guys forced me to add more picks on this. Donovan Edwards. I liked him in our mocks last year.
Good. We got Trey Benson.
Well, we'll see.
Scroll down a little bit.
A lot of safeties and off-ball linebackers. How about this? Trading it for here's what I want to do. Going to Cincinnati. I'm going to say, hey, Cincinnati. You guys know where I'm going with this. How about a little bit of this action here? Trey Henderson, 84-71. Let's offer it up. You guys cool with that?
They clearly aren't. There's no interest from Cincinnati for that.
We're forcing this trade. Is that
no,
right?
Don't do that, dude.
And then
make a couple picks and
we'll throw in maybe a John Gaines.
Stop. Now, what?
Let's look at the edge rushers available.
Yeah, just go to the edge.
I don't want to see it. Oh, yeah, this is looking good.
Georgia D
Stackhouse, son of Jerry.
Great two guard.
2 sacks. That's good.
Usually 2 guards in the NBA produce some of the best edge rushers in the NFL.
Hey, I play edge rusher for Georgia. I have 2 sacks in 2 years. Oh, okay. I'm actually 6'3", 320 pounds. What?
How is that an edge rusher?
This guy, these rankings.
What's our guy Riley Mills? What are his stats?
Not good. 3 sacks, 4 sacks. I don't want to do another mock draft for 4 months, but when we do, we got to get our shit together from an edge rushing standpoint. This is not good. Jonathan Gannon would have our necks with this mock draft. I think we just got to go back to positional value. Good Lord. A lot of QBs and safeties and running backs.
Start scrolling.
Where the D tackles? Where the tackles? How about this guy? Oh, man, that's a reach.
Lathan Ransom, Another Sal Point football legend.
This is who we're taking right here. We're just completing the entire 2023 Illinois offensive line.
Another U of A guy who's down there.
What?
It's Fafita.
Oh, it was? There's no way he goes into the draft next year. Right?
I wouldn't think so.
I can't see the chat. Did everybody log off? Has everybody quit on this show?
Yeah, you've been fired.
Damon, how about this? Should I take him?
This hurts to watch. Don't do that.
All right, I'm going Donovan Edwards based on pure position value.
Well, at least we have a second pick we don't want to use right now.
And then we're taking Jerry's son. Or what about another developmental tackle?
Yeah, grab one of those 2 tackles.
Take the other. So we're going to take. Oh God, look at that.
Right, how much are we investing in the offensive line? Every pick?
Yep. All right, I'm going to take the kid out of Clemson just because he's got more experience.
I apologize to everybody.
No, that was your fault. You made me trade down.
I just said I apologized to everybody, and then you said that's not good enough.
Oh, I thought I'm so conditioned to think that you were apologizing on behalf of me. This is one of the worst mock drafts in the history of mocks.
Look,
we have used up all of our goodwill after Marv this year, and we get this big shit sandwich on a Friday afternoon.
I don't mind the first 2 picks.
I hate this mock. This
Yeah, you should. Yeah, get it off. Don't share your screen any longer. Let's get out of this.
I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry we did that to you. Okay, good. People are still here. People still want to be a part of this fine program. That's proof that this team's making the playoffs this year.
Yeah. Did you see that the clip from the receiver where it's Deebo Samuel rooting on the Cardinals?
Do we have it?
No, I mean we're not going to play it from Netflix. I don't want to get booted. Yeah, we got the screen cap. Get that? They asked Kyler Murray from Deebo Samuel. Him and Brandon Ayuk were talking about how the Cardinals were storming their way back against the Eagles as the Niners, for obvious reasons, were rooting against Philadelphia to lose to Arizona.
I hate this and I love this at the same time. It's great to see like NFL peers respect Kyler Murray because they should and they do, and it's just the media and a national thing with Kyler Murray. But at the same time, I hate doing good things for the Niners. I mean, like, pretty sure the Niners for me right now are the most insufferable team and fan base. I don't wish them well in any capacity. I loved this. The only reason that this is made to be okay is Jonathan Gannon got to stick it to Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
I did not like helping San Francisco because in large part, Brock Purdy needs home field advantage to get to the playoffs. We saw it. If that NFC Championship game is in Detroit, then that they lose that game. But they had it at home and they were able to overcome that dismal start. So, yeah, Kyler Murray saved their tuckuses late in the season.
Easy. Clean it up.
Sorry. Game respects game. Deebo will be a Niner for about 3 more months. He'll be dealt.
Just saying, exit button. Wanted to set of that mock as soon as possible.
Couldn't get out of that mock fast enough, Jess.
Valley Boy 14, Johnny asleep at the wheel. Damn it, Johnny.
I
torpedoed
was
that
responsible for any of those players.
Monti Ossenfort's burner drafted like Steve Keim.
We did. Yeah, Steve did his mock from his phone. We did so many mocks last year. It should be ceremonial. We should not do another mock at least until Halloween on the show. And I don't even want to do one then. I want to do mock simulator playoff scenarios. That's what I want to do. So I think we make a vow right now. We don't say hashtag blame Johnny, Rudy. That's not what we do. That's not okay. What we do instead is we make a unity, a truce from the 3 of us here and everybody in the chat. PHNX Cardinals is going to take a mock draft sabbatical. Get your pinkies up until at least Halloween. Is everybody comfortable with that?
I don't know. We'll see how the college football season goes. And we're gonna be way more familiar with college football players with the College Football 25 releasing next week. It's gonna be. I'm not gonna put up Halloween. That's far too long.
Wow. Well. No hope with this team being around 500.
No, yeah, for sure. But I'm still gonna be in draft season all the time, draft mode.
Okay. Jack Smith, was it Johnny's? Yes, it was my idea to do a mock. I posed it yesterday. And then I got into the simulator and it couldn't have gone worse. So wait until Thanksgiving, says Monty's Ossenfort's burner. It always seems sacrilegious to do a mock when you're in the playoff hunt. It almost feels like you're trying to irk your team.
Yeah, I mean, if it's organic, we're not just going to do it. We're not going to be short on content if this team is winning. Storylines.
I don't want to do like, hey, built in the third segment, we're going to do a mock. Cardinals are like 5-2. I'm like, no. We appreciate you all on this glorious Friday of a show. We're fired up. Next week, tons of content coming your way. Continued positional previews for the Arizona Cardinals. Anybody speaking with the Arizona Cardinals next week, Bo? Any insight on that?
No, nothing official. They'll probably release that. I would assume somebody's going to talk on Tuesday, and when they tell us who it's going to be, and when we get the, I guess the audio, the video from that, you'll find it. PHNX_Cardinals. You'll find it on my account, Bo Brack. Also got some great content hitting the YouTube page this weekend, the channel. Make sure you subscribe to PHNX Sports here. We got a conversation with Theo Ash. NFL Twitter personality, content creator. He talks Cardinals. Also talked to Brandon Thorne, kind of the authority on the trenches, offensive and defensive line. Do the Cardinals do enough on both sides of the football? Brandon will tell you that. Don't miss either one of those interviews going up Saturday and Sunday here on PHNX Sports, PHNX Cardinals.
Like this video, subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. Again, check us out, truefantravel.com. Go PHNX.com. For Bo Brack, Damon, Dawg, I'm Johnny Venerable. Everybody be well. Have a safe, happy, and healthy weekend. We are back on Monday. Take care, everybody.
We all silly like the mayor.